I have no idea how I want to start this, but we're making chicken pot pie. We're making chicken pot pie, which means first we need to make pie. So, for pie crust, you always need to have a 3-2-1 ratio. 3 parts flour, 2 parts fat, 1 part water. And so we're going to want 2 parts of butter to start. There we go, 6 ounces. That can go just straight into our food processor. And then we're gonna start out with only 6 ounces of flour. This is not 3-2. We'll fix that later. And you always wanna do it by weight. Don't do it by volume because it just changes too much with how much water the flour has absorbed. You can never get exact measurements unless you're actually using mass, you're using weight. Cooking is an art. Baking is a science. I'm gonna take this off screen and blitz it until it's way, way, way too overmixed. Very overmixed, which is fine. You can see there's no lumps of butter in here. And we're gonna do another 3 ounces here. The thing that makes pie crust nice and flaky is flour coating butter. But flour and butter mixed together works basically the same and also gives you the same structural integrity. You wanna fold this in, and you could mix it in there, but don't. It doesn't work as well, it doesn't give you as good a texture. Now we need some vodka. Vodka also keeps the pie crust from getting too tough because chemistry or something. Just need a little bit. We're gonna mix this, and it's starting to get a little bit easier, a little bit more to come together, and a little bit sticky. Let's see if that's anywhere close to enough. Oh, that's holding together very well. They had 6 ounces of butter, 9 ounces of flour, 2.5 ounces of the vodka. Turn that out, and you don't want to work it too much, but you want to get it into a ball so that you're able to sort of knead it. You don't want to knead it too much. You never want to overwork your pie crust because that's when it's tough and it's just not as fun. Because flaky pie crusts are the good ones. That will be a ball of dough that will turn into a couple of pie crusts. It's not going to do that right away. You need to let it sit a bit, which is boring. So, some lime. Lovely. Off we go with this. Now let's get started on the chicken portion, which is really sort of a basic chicken gravy. So, we'll get started with chicken on plastic, celery, carrots, onions, and your seasoning. First off, chicken. We'll take our chicken and we're just gonna chop it into cubes, which is really boring to watch. So, okay, that's better. Let's deal with some vegetables. Some people don't eat their vegetables, so we're gonna throw in an extra piece of celery just for that. You need a good amount of carrot at least to start, because the carrot is also going to make your brown sauce, which is going to be the basis when we actually cook the gravy portion. Let's do 2. With all of that, you need a good amount of onion, because onion is what makes things taste good. I have terrible knife technique. Don't use my knife technique. Take our carrots and our onion and our celery. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea right before I use a knife. Okay, herbs, onions, carrots, celery, chicken over here. So let's do a little bit of cleanup and then head over to the stove and cook all of this. So let's go. After that interlude, we've got some pie crusts settled. Now, get the crust in the pan, take it and fold it here into triangles. Point in the center, and unroll it, and unfold it, and unfold it carefully, the last one. Okay, when you're doing anything with pie crusts, this or anything else, you want to stretch it down to the corners of the crust. You don't want to, ease it a little bit, but you don't want to sort of scooch it down, because then that's when you get weird ripply things that don't look as great. And I'm just taking the edges off here because any extra over bits on the edges will turn into burnt bits, which aren't tasty. Now it's time, I guess, to start cooking. Now we're gonna have to actually make ourselves a gravy. We're gonna need to have our pan get nice and hot. Add a little bit of oil. First, you are going to want herbs and onions. Oh, look at that sizzle. I love that sound. Let's get onions and herbs lovely and sizzling and cook for just a little while. And you're not cooking, we probably don't want any color on these onions, but we need a little bit of softening. There we go. Onions are translucent and soft. And I've made, well, I ruined it now, didn't I? I had made, and I'm going to make again, a little well in the middle, because that is where I am going to be putting the chicken. Okay, so we've gotten the chicken and the onions cooked. And look at all that lovely brown crusty stuff in the bottom of the pan. That is pure flavor. We don't need much oil at this point because we are also going to be adding so much butter. All of the butter. Not all of it. Actually, kind of all of it. So, you go in you go. And that vermouth we were drinking earlier. Fun fact, use vermouth instead of white wine. It's like infinitely better, and if you put it in the fridge, keeps much better too. And all of that vermouth is gonna get all of that lovely brown off the bottom of the pan and into a delicious sauce. You need an entire half cup of butter for this, because we are making a lot of really delicious gravy. Half a cup-ish of flour. In it goes. Look how it's turning into a nice thick paste here. So, we've got chicken stock. And let's get this all mixed into a nice, smooth sauce. Oh, that's not enough at all. There we go. That is, I mean, look at how thick that sauce is now. Look how much of it is sticking to the spatula. Lovely. Let's add some chicken, because this has the onions and that has a large amount of our flavor in it. Vegetables also go in. There we go. That is a chicken gravy if I ever saw one. All right, that looks about done. Let's go put it in a pie. Here we go. Pie crust. Let's put some chicken in this pie. Let's just put this on top. But we're just gonna press this down because there's filling in between, so it's not gonna stick very well. And then I'm gonna press just the edges off so that we don't have extra burny bits. There we go. Ow, 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 ow. But that's gonna cook half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that, until it looks nice. That's basically all we care about at this point, because the filling is basically all cooked. And here we go. You see, there's a decent amount of flakiness to this crust, which I'm a fan of. And the filling is still nice and liquid. There we go. That's some nice seasoning. I would happily eat that. And in fact, I think I'm going to.